high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here is Matt Hatfield.
And we're welcome back here to 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to CoVA Sports TV and interact with us wherever you are tuning in. We have a special guest with us. He is the head football coach in his, I think it's his third year, maybe second full official year as the head man over there in Virginia Beach with the Salem Sun Devils, who are now 8-3 after beating the Bayside Marlins 28-19. We say hello to the former UVA Cavalier linebacker and two-way standout in football and basketball at Green Run. The opponent next for his Sun Devils, Mark Hall III. Coach, thank you for stopping by. How's life been treating you? Good win last night, huh?
Appreciate it, Matt. Good to see you, man. Always. Definitely, it feels good to get a W, man, and definitely in this time. It's kind of tough. You don't know what to expect in the playoffs, but, it's either win or go home. So, definitely excited about the W last night.
No doubt. And it is year 3 for you at the helm because you came into a season, was it 2 years ago in the middle of the season? It flies by. I lose track once you get to 3, 4, 5. And I hear all these old heads, as they call them, the coaches say, oh, this is I forget if it's my 24th or 25th year, as they say.
Yeah, I'm not that old, but this is my ninth year coaching, but this is my 4th official year at Salem, but my 3rd full year at Salem. So.
All right, good deal. Well, we mentioned it earlier, the running game on point for you. And even the game you lost to Bayside that I saw in September, he had a big game. Your sophomore in Jason Harden, who last night rumbles all over the Bayside defense for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. As a team, you rack up 327 yards rushing. And I think you only threw it one time, which you completed for a touchdown pass. Is that right?
Yeah, we threw it actually twice. They were both completed. But, yeah, man, like I said, this is playoff football, and, we're not going to go away from what's working. It's hard to stop the run when it's cold outside. So that's what we were, excelling at. We had a tough time. We lost our quarterback, second game of the season, and we were trying to find our identity throughout the whole year. And I think we found it. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, you mentioned the injuries, Landon Curls. I know even just your running back was dinged up and hardened, linebacker and Marcus McCoy, who's been one of the fiercest in the entire area and the state for that matter, with I think like close to 30 tackles for loss, 100+ tackles yet again. How have you tried to troubleshoot this thing? Because it felt like you hit a little bit of a bump in the road or a rock point. You lost the game to Bayside. You played Green Run so spirited the last time you met him, had a double-digit lead, and then you had the game with Cox where you didn't have any offensive flow. How did you keep the team upbeat after some of those adversity moments you had?
It's, they're kids, and, they're teenagers, young adults, and it's all about, making sure that you check on their well-being. So I talked to them about, Bayside being a game changer for us. That was our first loss. That hurt a lot. And then, we were up for the first Green Run game. Guys were up. We took an L to them. So just finding that point of finding out who we were as a team. This has been, a year of adversity for us, and I think the kids are starting to realize that. A lot of nicks and injuries and bumps and bruises, and, we just got to find out where guys can play and how far along in the depth chart we can go. And we realize that we have a lot of guys that can actually contribute to our team. Everybody has a special role in our team, even our sideline guys, managers, who else. But we're trying to find our identity, and I think we found it. Guys are healthy.
We lost Coach Hall for a second there. We'll see if we can get him back here. As apparently the internet's playing tricks with all kinds of people out there today. I know Coach Young can't get on, and I'm not sure if he's in the school or at home, but we seem to have lost him. Oh, we got you back, Coach. You popped out. That tricky internet can do that to you, but go ahead. We finish what you were saying there. We lost you for a moment.
Yeah, I'm saying we injuries, and, we look forward going into this next game. We found our identity as a team, and, we're grateful for that. Everybody has a solid role for us, and everybody's doing their 111th, and we're looking forward to this upcoming game.
Sure. Let's chat about you as a young head football coach who's, got this team back in the hunt again, contending for a regional title and advancing in the playoffs. What have you learned, the biggest thing you've learned from the start as an assistant to becoming the head coach to now? What have you kind of soaked up in this whole process and journey?
Starting off at Greenwood, my coaching career as a volunteer straight out of college, you kind of sit back and you listen and you try to take on the knowledge of everybody. I have, tremendous respect for Brandon Williams. He gave me my first opportunity to coach. But, we're to a point where, we can't continue to be labeled as the little brothers of the beach, or what they call. And I'm thankful for the opportunity he's given me. I've learned a lot from him. I've learned a lot from coaching under him, and even at the middle school level also. But the biggest thing is figuring out what you can do as a head coach. How can you contribute? What is your niche? So that's what I've learned, and I figured out my style of coaching, and the X's and O's are going to come with the experience of being a player and playing at the collegiate level. And studying the game, but it's more than just the X's and O's when it comes to coaching. It's about having that relationship with the kids, the parents, the the community, and building that connection, and having them buy in also. So that's just what I've learned over the last couple of years.
Nicely put. And you obviously got some great tutoring from your father, who was a highly successful basketball coach there at Cape Henry Collegiate, Mark Hall. And you mentioned Brandon Williams giving you your start. I see your former basketball coach already starting the junk talking on Facebook there. See you at the 50. Kenneth Harris over there, who got himself a championship there.
As long as he don't have a towel. As long as he don't have a
towel. What's funny real quick? Yeah, he does have that towel. He likes to wave it. And sometimes, he's on the sideline as a basketball coach. We joke him that you're going to get a penalty because you're going up and you're like, I'm afraid he's going to get on the field there. You should probably, they like to say, stay in your lane a little bit. Sometimes he gets a little bit overboard there. But it's funny, though, when they say they never watch and then they interact real quick with a comment on the show. I always get a kick out of that here. But let's talk more about your guys for a moment, Coach, because you have some unsung heroes besides the main marquee names, like certainly Jason Harden and Marcus McCoy. We know Isaiah Bray is a lineman who's been as imposing. You even use him in the backfield. I think he had a rushing touchdown against Green Run. I saw in that game you had earlier this year. But you have some other players like Caden Drenning, Jack Strother that have made their mark here throughout this year. Highlight some of the unsung heroes and players that are getting some attention for the next level if you can.
Oh, yeah. So, we'll start with Jack Strother. Jack Strother is, taking on the role of playing wherever he needs to play. This is a guy that I feel like we've put at almost every position except O-line and D-line. We put him at quarterback. We put him at receiver, DB, outside linebacker. He's rushed off the edge, corner, so on and so forth. This last game, he was, at quarterback for us. Made a lot of good reads for us. He actually played quarterback in middle school. So, we had the confidence in him to step into that light. And, he's had that confidence, and you can see he's starting to shine there. Also, Caden Drennan, he's one of those guys that is real quiet. He's a silent leader on our team, playing receiver and DB. Very athletic, long, lengthy kid. You can put him almost anywhere too. But I like a lot about him is, we haven't thrown the ball too much this year, obviously, because we were struggling at the quarterback position, and that's, nothing to hide. But he continuously does everything he wants to do on his side, and we're grateful for that. One of the faster kids on our team, Aiden, and silent aside and play on defense too. He can go up and get the ball, and he actually scored our only receiving touchdown last night too. So.
Good deal. A few more minutes here with Mark Hall. He's the head football coach of the Salem Sun Devils, now 8-3 on the season after eliminating Bayside on the road in the regional quarterfinals by a count of 28-19. They'll take on Coach Hall's alma mater, Green Run, who's still rolling and undefeated at 11-0 after beating Deep Creek 36-14. That's going to be a 7 o'clock kickoff next Friday night, November the 21st, over there at Dahlia Drive in Elisha Cadillac Harris Stadium. Coach Hall, our guest here on 757 Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. You mentioned just being the little brother, and you got a lot of respect for Coach Williams and the Stallions. But besides the obvious of, well, Matt, we've got to score more points than them and win it for 48 minutes or more if it's required there, what are the small things you have to do differently in terms of details to get the outcome? Because you played them competitively for a few years. What's it going to take to get over that hump in your eyes?
Just going back and watching the game films, because you always go back and you say, what could you have done better as a coach? And you know what I mean? As a coach and a leader of the team, you do have to wear that on your shoulder, and that, I wear my heart on my sleeve. But when it comes to getting over this hump, we got to play competitively all 4 quarters, obviously, but we have to eliminate the little things as far as turnovers and special teams, unwanted penalties, things along those lines like that, because they add up. It gives a team like that momentum, and you can't give a team like that momentum. I think we have what it takes. Every single year, we know we come into the game competitive. They know it's going to be a competitive game, and then get over that hump. We just got to eliminate those little small things, playing all 4 quarters. If it goes in overtime, it goes in overtime, and we play that quarter also. But just eliminating the penalties and doing what we're supposed to do in the game. So.
What would you say about the Beach District this year? Because I know some have said, looking at the playoffs here now, and you do have Indian River in your bracket. I know you're focused on your game singularly here, and as you should be. But the Beach, and I don't want to put you in an awkward spot here, Coach, but I've been a proponent of, I think it would be cool to see the Beach get that opportunity across the board to allow all of its schools, at least one out of district game. The Bay Rivers had that opportunity, and it got taken away with the addition from Gloucester from the PD to the Bay Rivers. And I think it hurts the Bay Rivers teams potentially for the playoffs. The Eastern, the Southeastern have that opportunity. And I get it. You know, the Beach is a larger district with 11 schools. The Eastern has just 8. What's your view of it, and how do you adjust to different styles of football once you get to the playoffs? Because you have seen like an Indian River in the playoffs before. Give me kind of your thought on all that.
I think the Beach District is very competitive on my end. Just personally, it is tough because we have 11 schools, and I thought the Beach District was wide open this year. Like I said, we took 3 L's this year to 2 competitive teams. You know, Cox is a competitive team, Bayside competitive team, Green Run, obviously, and even some of the teams that are didn't even get the opportunity to make the playoffs. They're going to play tough. Anybody can show up. But I do like the opportunity to potentially play somebody out of district, just my personal opinion. I don't know if it will ever happen, but it will give, the opportunity for us to see somebody different. In our division in 5, I think there are a lot of Beach District teams, so we do potentially play the same teams over and over again. So we're used to it, and it gets competitive. So when we get against a team like Indian River or Deep Creek, it's something new, something different. So it's exciting because we get to see something different. Last year we got the opportunity to play Deep Creek, so it was something different that we got to see. And then the year before that, or 2 years before that, we did play Indian River in the first round. But they just have a different style of playing. They're athletic and they're aggressive too. But it's good to get that opportunity and get that playoff environment early and often before you actually get to the playoffs. But nobody really knows what the playoff feel like unless you play in that cold weather in the playoffs.
So true. It's going to get chillier and chillier out there where the gloves are needed. And I interviewed a player from Indian River who didn't have the sleeves on. I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. You guys are warriors, and you were a heck of a player back in your day. And it takes me to my last couple of questions here for you, Coach. Thank you for the time here on this particular Saturday morning on 757 Sports Talk. UVA, what a resurgence, Hunt, under Tony Elliott. I know last week's game, notwithstanding the tough loss to Wake Forest, they got a big one today against Duke. What do you think of the Wahoos and how things have turned around? Top 25, perhaps still in that ACC championship mix in college football playoff. And correct me if I'm wrong, didn't you play with the guy at Green Run that went to Duke? Were you teammates with Jamal Wallace or no? Was it him or somebody else?
Yes, I was teammates with Jamal Wallace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do y'all have any friendly banter, back and forth trash talk for this game this week or no?
No, I haven't seen Jamal in a couple of years, but we did. I haven't seen him in a while. I've seen his brother recently, probably not too long ago, but definitely Jamal. I was pretty tight with him when I was in high school. He's a little bit older than me, but he did go to Duke. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think though about UVA's doing there? And I'm sure. I mean, you don't mind getting your kids to whatever college, but I'm sure Elliott and the staff are saying, we got to get some of those Sun Devils in the orange and blue here in the years to come like you were, huh?
Yeah, man, it's always great to see, your alma mater winning, man. And, that's what you want to see. It's happiness when the team's doing a great job with those players. I watched a lot of their games this year. I'm hoping to get up to a game when they play Virginia Tech. I know it's going to be really, really packed, but they're doing a lot of good things. He's getting the team to buy in, has a great facility. I got the opportunity to see that facility being built. I haven't got to see it actually finished, but going back on grounds, it's really nice to see what he has going on with the team, getting the kids to buy in, and they're believing in the system that they got going on. And, I do like the way that the ACC is doing it right now. Of note, like Atlantic and Coastal, I believe. I think it's just the best record. So, this is the opportunity for them to continue to win out and go to the ACC championship. And if that is the case, I probably will be in attendance for that game.
I don't think I've asked you before. Did you have a favorite moment from your college days at UVA?
I had a favorite game. We played Louisville. Yep, that was a big upset. I do remember that game. I can't remember the year. I do remember that game. Just playing against somebody. Playing against Louisville, yeah, we stormed the field. And just, seeing a lot of the players that are in the NFL right now, telling your kids like, yo, I've been on the field with these players, playing against them, because these are some of the guys that they look up to. And it's pretty dope to, have that experience and say, hey, we were playing against these same players, like Lamar Jackson and the Royce Freemans and the DeAnthony Thomas and the Marcus Mariotas. Those are it's really cool to see that they're excelling at at the next level.
Yeah, that is so awesome. One more before we let you go. I haven't asked you to this in a while too. How's bro doing? Devin Hall playing ball still overseas professionally?
Yeah, he's dominating over there, man. He's a guy over there in Turkey right now. I'm looking forward to potentially going to see him in the springtime. And it's really good to see that he's doing his thing, still balling. I think he just had a new contract with his current team, Fenerbahce. And he's just dominating, man. And, I do get the opportunity to go over there and see. I got to see him when he was playing with OKC. I saw him when he was in Australia. I saw him when he was in Milan. So I'm looking forward to potentially getting out there in the springtime and seeing him when I get some time off.
That's fantastic. I think I saw them win that chip, whatever it was in the summertime, whatever it was. It flashed across social media, and it's always neat to see these guys like yourself that I covered. Remember when y'all were babyface, and now here you are coaching on the quest for a championship of your own with the Salem Sun Devils. They're now 8-3, getting ready to take on Coach Hall's alma mater, Green, running the regional semifinals in 5A. Thank you so much. All the best to you and your squad, and we'll chat again soon. Enjoy the weekend.
All right, thank you. Tell Paul said what's up too.
All right, we'll do that.
All right,
that is Mark Hall III, our guest here of the Salem Sun Devils. We got coming up, you heard him say Paul. We've got Paul Crowley, the head football coach of the captains of Christopher Newport University, on the way. They're undefeated, perfect regular season. What a year for CNU. They're heading to the Division III NCAA tournament. They beat the College of New Jersey Friday night at Lions Stadium.